Hi there, my name is Malcolm Trevina. I work with an organisation called GrassrootsUganda.com. Grassroots specialises in empowering African women. We help them sell their crafts and all the profits we make are returned to the ladies. Today we're in the small village of Nagalama. We have partnered with Mumyo, a local NGO on the ground. We have also brought with us Rose. Rose is originally from northern Uganda and is here to teach the ladies today the skill of turning simple recycled poster paper into beads which will turn into necklaces and bracelets. The process that Rose is going to teach the ladies is a very simple one. We take poster paper that we have gathered from local printers and we cut it up into very fine triangular shaped pieces. Then comes the most important part of the process. We take each one of these triangular shaped pieces and roll it into a very tight paper ball. This is the most important step of the process because any imperfections at this stage will make for an ugly necklace later on. A small piece of glue is applied to the end to keep the paper bead together. Once the ladies get into the groove, they can produce up to 100 of these beads a day. Once the beads have been finished, they are all threaded on to an individual piece of fishing line. Each of these fishing lines of beads is taken and combined with a bucket full of wood varnish. This is a very important step as it converts the soft paper beads into a very hard paper bead. Each strand of beads takes up to 3 coats for it to get to its finished stage. Once a strand of beads has been varnished, it is taken outside and hung on a line. It can take up to 1 day for each strand of beads to dry, so it can take up to 3 days for the varnishing process to finish. Once the beads are on the line, it is a simple matter of waiting. Once they have dried enough, each individual bead is sorted into beads of similar style and colour. This allows us to make necklaces of the same style and pattern. Then comes the stage that the ladies enjoy most of all, threading up the paper beads with individual plastic beads. The ladies enjoy this process and have lots of laughs as they are doing it, until eventually they have the finished beads. Each individual necklace of this size has 24 beads in it. One of the jobs that Grassroots Uganda does throughout the day is interview the ladies. We interview lady after lady after lady after lady. And the reason we do this is so that we can gather their stories and put them on the website. Like this lady. Her name is Harriet. She was struck down with polio as a child and now has to work with a crutch. Or there is Aida as well, who has to work with a young handicapped child. She gets no help from the government and struggles to even put her through school. And then there is Hajara. Hajara's husband abandoned her and she is left to take after all her children by herself. She struggles every day just to feed them and to give them school fees. After 3 days of hard working, it is time to wrap things up. We briefly explained to the ladies how we plan to sell the necklaces on the internet and internally within Uganda. They in turn thank us as well for our time and our efforts. The ladies then head back home to their villages and to their families, but they will be back together later on in the week. Grassroots Uganda is a long-term project and won't stop when we leave. Grassroots Uganda not only reaches Nagalama, we reach many of the villages scattered across Uganda that many other aid agencies do not go to. One notable example is Kitgum. Kitgum is in the extreme north of Uganda and has been racked by war for the last 20 years or so. When we went up there, we were fortunate enough to be there during the times of peace talks. The people's there, their spirit, the Acholi people, it is very good. They're always welcome to us and to our project, no matter what their story is. Take this lady for example. She was out fetching water one day when she stood on a landmine that was left by the rebel group. It left her with most of one leg missing. Or take Jeffrey. Jeffrey is an ex-LRA soldier, which is the rebel group in northern Uganda. He spent 7 years as a forced child soldier, and now he breaks rocks for a living. Numukuma is one of the more isolated villages we go to. Off from the main road, it takes a 1-hour ride in a taxi, then a half-hour ride on the motorbike just to reach it. During that time, we talk to the ladies as we always do. We sit down with them and we gather their stories so that we better tell them about them and their problems. We do most of our training inside the local school, where the locals gather to learn about the beads and so on. Most of the ladies' stories are quite harsh and they are racked by poverty. Take this lady for an example. Her name is Alicia. She is taking care of orphan grandchildren. Their parents, her relatives, had died of AIDS. Or like this girl, her name is Annette. She is standing in front of her farm. This is typical of the farms inside Numukuma. They are sustenance farms and not much more. Bavunya is one of the first craft groups we set up. Bavunya is a small isolated community that specializes in brickmaking. We spend our crafts time inside one of the ladies' houses where the community gathers to make beads and construct beads and talk about their problems and their issues. This girl, her for example, is only 23 and already she has 3 children. She struggles just to feed them and send them through school. Or this lady here, her husband left her 7 years ago for another girlfriend. She fled to this village and now she is making her way by making crafts and so on for her children. We thank you for your time in watching this video. If you want to help these ladies, then I suggest you log on to grassrootsuganda.com and purchase some of the beautiful crafts you have seen being produced today.